At exactly 2:00 a.m. on May 31st, you will feel a shift in the room. That's not your imagination. The hour is not arbitrary. The date is not a coincidence. This message is not for everyone, but if you found your way here, then heaven has already whispered your name into the wind. The veil between worlds is thinning, and at 2:00 a.m. on May 31st, something sacred will stir. A shift, one barely perceptible to the eye but unmistakable to the soul, will ripple through your space. The temperature may drop. The air may thicken. Your breath may still itself. That moment is not your imagination. It is the moment the unseen becomes undeniable. It is the moment the divine interrupts the ordinary. It is the moment the heavens stretch open and light invades silence. For those spiritually attuned, this is not new, but it is urgent. You felt the pressure mounting. You've heard the silence between the noise. You sense the stillness that comes before a divine arrival. Archangel Michael does not descend where there is chaos. He lands in the rooms of the still, in the hearts of the prepared, and in the silence of the obedient. This shift is not metaphorical. It is tangible. It is real. It is measured in seconds and soaked in sacredness. Do not miss the hour. 2:00 a.m. on May 31st is a spiritual checkpoint, a timestamp written in heaven's scroll. When that hour comes, the spiritual realm will stretch its hand toward the physical. It will not scream. It will not announce itself with thunder. It will whisper. You must listen. You must discern. You must be still. You must honor the silence, because in that silence, heaven will speak. You were not randomly chosen to hear this. This message is not for the asleep. It is for the awakened. The ones who feel things before they see them. The ones who have known for weeks now that something is stirring. You are not imagining the weight in the air, the static on your skin, or the shift in the spirit. This is your confirmation. And now, Archangel Michael speaks when the clock strikes 2. Your room will not be the same. Hear me, child of light. Hear me now, for this is not a moment to take lightly. This is not a dream to dismiss or a fleeting thought to ignore. In 3 nights, your room will become the center of a spiritual transaction, one that has been in the making for generations. In 3 nights, the atmosphere around you will thicken. The veil will stretch. The Spirit will arrive. This is your divine interruption. Archangel Michael has been dispatched with urgency that heaven seldom permits without purpose. For too long, you have questioned what you felt. For too long, you have silenced your own discernment. But no more. The pressure you've been sensing, the unease in your chest, the sudden awakenings at night with no known cause. You haven't been imagining it, because the spiritual is now colliding with the physical, and the veil between them is thinner than it has ever been. Your room, yes, your very room, will become the battleground of revelation and release. The walls that have held your prayers will echo back with response. The ceiling that has seen your tears will become a portal of power. The silence that has weighed on you will transform into sacred speech. And the moment is not in a distant future. It is now measured in hours. Archangel Michael speaks not to stir fear, but to activate awareness, to ignite the readiness of your soul. You were never crazy. You were never paranoid. You were being prepared. At 2:00 a.m., stillness is not just a suggestion, it is a command. Because heaven does not speak over noise, you will feel a presence, a shiver. The air will move without wind. Your skin will respond to something unseen. Do not dismiss it. Do not run from it. Do not reach for your phone. Do not speak. Let the stillness be your sanctuary. Let your silence become your shield. The enemy has tried to distract you from this moment, tried to drown you in routine. But your spirit, oh, your spirit knows. It remembers the promise. It remembers the prophecy. And it hath been waiting for this time step on your timeline. You are not alone. Legions stand watch. Michael stands guard. This moment is not coming. It is always here. So prepare your room. Clean the space. Anoint your doorpost. Light the candle if you must. But most of all, prepare your spirit. Because when the hour arrives, it will not knock. It will enter. And only the prepared will recognize its weight. This is your call to stillness. This is your invitation to encounter. This is your divine appointment. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now surrounding you. You've been watched without knowing, but not by who you think. You felt the presence. You noticed the shift. There have been moments you stood in your own room, in your own sanctuary, and suddenly it didn't feel like yours anymore. The comfort began to flicker. The safety began to feel thin. You tried to explain it away. Maybe it was stress, fatigue, or just your imagination. But no, it wasn't. It was the evidence of something deeper, something older, something spiritual. The feeling of being watched is not always paranoia. Sometimes it is prophecy. Sometimes it is the spirit nudging your awareness to the invisible. And in this season, especially as May 31st draws near, the invisible has begun to press against the fabric of your visible world. You've been under surveillance, not by the government, not by people, but by principalities. Spiritual forces that have taken note of your awakening. You've stepped too close to your purpose, and they've noticed. Heaven is stirring, but so is the other side. And the watchers, the silent disruptors, they've been planted to confuse you, to distort your discernment, to make you doubt what you're feeling. But hear this truth: the unease you feel is not your imagination. The heaviness in the room, the sudden silences from people who used to speak life, the subtle distancing of friends without reason. That's not coincidence. That's consequence. The consequence of your spirit ascending, and your old alignments cracking under the pressure of your transformation. Ask yourself, beloved, why have you been so uneasy this week? Why did peace slip away like smoke through your fingers? Why did your emotions start to feel foreign, as if they weren't even yours? Because they weren't. Because spiritual interference hath been active in your atmosphere. Because the adversary has been tampering with your energy. And because there are people around you, yes, some even close to you, who have been spiritually compromised. That betrayal you feel coming is real. That suspicion you've tried to bury is true. That strange shift in someone's tone, it's a signal. The spirit had been whispering, preparing you, protecting you, placing distance where danger once smiled. Don't chase closeness where heaven has ordained separation. Not everyone is mourning the pain you've endured. Some are secretly celebrating your exhaustion. But even that is working for your good. This disruption, this unraveling of emotional certainty, is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to uncover what could have corrupted you. And the hour of truth is approaching. As May 31st at 2:00 a.m. comes near, the veil will lift, and what was hidden will scream to be seen. The faces behind masks will falter. The eyes will betray what lips will not say. The energy will no longer lie. You're not just in a week of transition. You are in a week of spiritual exposure. Even your own emotions are trying to tell you the truth. The crying without reason, the mood swings, the sudden fatigue. They are symptoms of what is being unearthed. This is not just emotional instability. It is divine destabilization, clearing the room of what cannot stand in the presence of what's coming. Listen closely. In the final 72 hours before the shift, you may notice people retreating. Let them. You may receive texts that seem oddly cold. Do not respond in kind. You may even hear whispers, literal or metaphorical, that shake your trust. Ask the moment to stand still. Heaven will reveal the rest. You are not breaking. You are being separated. Heaven is isolating your spirit because what's about to be downloaded cannot be shared with the spiritually immature. The mystery is not your burden, it's your boundary. Protected. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1516 is now activated. You have been walking through what felt like disorientation, but in truth, it has been divine discipline. Not punishment, but preparation. The confusion you've endured, the chaos that seemed to creep in without warning, the sudden tightness in your chest when everything should have been calm. These were not random afflictions. They were signals from the heavens. Spiritual turbulence is often mistaken for emotional instability, but you must hear this now. This wasn't your mind playing tricks on you. This was your spirit being stretched. This is not just discomfort. This is divine training. When heaven is preparing a vessel for greater use, it must first remove what the vessel cannot carry into the next level. And that is what you've been living. The unraveling of expectations, the falling away of relationships, the silence that stings louder than shouting. These are the fingerprints of a divine process that is reconstructing your soul. It's why your sleep has been shallow. It's why your spirit hath been restless. It's why even in rooms filled with people, you felt deeply alone. Because you are being separated for something holy. The warfare around you has not been about your past, it's been about your future. The enemy sees your elevation before you do. And just as heaven has placed angels to guide and guard, darkness has assigned distractions to drain and delay. That's why your emotions have felt scrambled. That's why your peace has been fragile. But don't confuse the shaking for failure. The shaking is a sacred part of the process. You not know. The ground must quake before the tomb opens. The clouds must gather before the glory falls. The conflict you feel is not because something is wrong. It's because something is right. You're aligned. You're close. You're within reach of the shift, and hell knows it. That's why the pressure intensified. That's why people started acting differently. That's why the attacks got more personal. But listen, you've passed every test. Every time you chose not to retaliate, heaven recorded it. Every time you bowed your head and whispered, "God, I don't understand, but I trust you," angels were dispatched. Every time you stayed silent when slander came against you, your spiritual rank increased. Obedience has been your secret weapon. And your calmness, that has been your shield. You see, in this war, noise attracts enemies, but silence invites glory. Heaven doesn't shout. Heaven whispers. And you, chosen one, have learned to hear in the silence. You've learned to stand when everything inside of you screamed to collapse. That's why Archangel Michael is standing now, not just to protect, but to honor. You didn't just survive, you were transformed. This isn't just spiritual warfare. This is spiritual assessment. The veil is thinning, and heaven has been watching closely. Not your circumstances, but your reactions. Did you pray when it got hard? Did you still believe when answers didn't come? Did you honor the still, small voice when the world offered loud temptations? If you did, you're ready. Ready to step through the veil. Ready to command authority. Ready to receive what's been held until this exact moment in time. Understand this. Heaven has not ignored your pain. It has stored it. Your tears have not been wasted. They've been weighed. Your obedience hasn't gone unseen. It's been tallied. Your restraint hasn't gone unnoticed. It's been celebrated. And now, as the sacred hour approaches, the conflict begins to make sense. The fire didn't burn you. It forged you. The silence didn't break you. It built you. And the pressure didn't destroy you. It prepared you. You were never losing. You were being aligned. So don't fear the warfare. Don't resent the conflict. The fact that you're still here, still standing, still seeking, still praying, is all the proof you need. You are ready for what comes next. And what comes next is power, spiritual way, divine elevation. So when 2:00 a.m. arrives on May 31st, do not weep in confusion. Stand in clarity. You've been trained for this. You've been anointed for this. The veil is lifting, and you are not entering as a spectator. You are stepping in as a warrior. The time of testing has ended. The time of revealing has come. Type Amen to get blessings 1234. By the time the clock breathes its way into the second hour after midnight on May 31st, something will already have been decided. Not by you, not by them, but by forces unseen, beyond reach, and wholly sovereign. In the heavenly realm, timelines are not linear. They spiral. They converge. And in this very moment, somewhere beyond the veil, choices are solidifying. The alignment is happening. Heaven is moving pieces into place. Hell is attempting to react. And you, beloved, are standing at the center of it all. This message is not a riddle. It is not symbolic. It is a divine notice that you are entering the last 72 hours before an irreversible shift is triggered. And your posture in these moments, your awareness, your restraint, your obedience, will determine what comes with you into the next realm and what must be left behind. The actions of others are already being orchestrated. Conversations are happening in rooms you're not in. Decisions are being made in secret, some against you, some for you. But your spirit has already sensed it, that invisible pull, that rising tension, that odd delay in responses, that subtle change in how people look at you. What you're feeling is not confusion. It's consequence. Consequence of elevation. And with elevation comes scrutiny. With promotion comes pressure. The atmosphere around you has changed because the plans involving you have changed. What was meant to delay you is being dismantled. What was meant to destroy you is being routed. And the enemy is scrambling. He's desperate. He's losing grip. In the next 72 hours, you will feel this tension build. There may be confrontation, not because you're wrong, but because your light is convicting. There may be strange behavior from people close to you. Don't question it. Observe it. The Spirit says, do not chase explanations. Let clarity come from silence. You will notice patterns breaking. People moving differently. Doors shutting suddenly. This is not punishment. This is positioning. It is the hand of heaven pushing you out of environments that can no longer hold what is about to be deposited into your spirit. But listen, and listen well. If the room chills, do not move. If the atmosphere shifts, do not panic. If your skin prickles and your breath shortens, do not speak. That is not fear. That is presence. That is your room becoming a meeting place for the Spirit. You are standing on holy ground. This isn't just a physical room anymore. It's become a corridor of celestial transaction. The veil is being lifted layer by layer, and at exactly 2:00 a.m., the final layer will fall. This is the window. This is the access point. And when it comes, don't miss it trying to understand it. Just feel it. Trust it. Flow with it. You are not the only one moving. Angels are moving too. But so are adversaries. This is why restraint is power. Heaven is measuring your ability to withstand without reacting. Because you are not meant to fight in this moment. You are meant to witness. The war has already been decided. The victory has already been secured. You are simply walking through the final hours before heaven announces it in your life. Don't get distracted by sudden drama. Don't get pulled into arguments that sprout out of nowhere. This is bait. This is the adversary's last attempt to get you to forfeit what's being prepared. Because when 2:00 a.m. strikes on May 31st, your name will echo in the heavenlies. The page will turn. The next chapter will begin. And nothing, not even the lies, the slander, or the betrayal, can stop what is coming. You just have to endure these final movements. Hold your peace. Protect your presence. Guard your gaze. The next 3 nights are holy. Treat them as such. Heaven is watching. Hell is worrying. And your spirit is waking up. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you receive this warning. Blessing code 777 is now aligning with your spirit. Be still. At exactly 2:00 a.m. on May 31st, stillness will be your sanctuary. Stillness will be your defense. Stillness will be your sword. This is not just another night. This is not just another hour. This is not just another passing breeze in the darkness. This is a divine checkpoint, a spiritual recalibration, a celestial visitation, and only those postured in silence will be able to receive what is coming. The noise of the world cannot follow you into this hour. The chaos of your day must bow at the threshold of this sacred night. Because what is coming into your room will not tolerate clutter, not physical clutter, not mental clutter, and certainly not spiritual clutter. This is your instruction. Do not speak. Do not post. Do not respond. Do not try to explain yourself to anyone. The power of this moment lies in your refusal to engage with what's beneath your calling. This is not the time to be reactive. This is the time to be receptive. Be a vessel, not a voice. Be a chamber, not a channel. Let heaven pour into you what it has withheld until now. Because what is being delivered at 2:00 a.m. cannot be downloaded through noise. It only comes through reverence. Silence invites angels. Stillness draws down the spirit. Restraint builds the altar. You must create an atmosphere that welcomes holiness. Turn off the television. Mute the world. Shut the door. Anoint your space with prayer. Set the tone with worship. Light a candle if you must. But do not fill the air with anything that did not come from God. Because at 2:00 a.m., your room will transform. The shift won't announce itself with sound. It will arrive with presence, And when it does, you must be ready. Fasting is a key. Prayer is your covering. Journaling is your preparation. You are not just being told to survive this hour. You are being entrusted with it. Because what descends during this time is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the undisciplined. It's not for the distracted. It's for the seekers, the still, the surrendered, the ones who say, Lord, I'm here. Speak, move, fill me, and heaven will. Because heaven always responds to humility. You will not be overlooked. You will not be ignored. The silence will speak. The stillness will move. And what has been withheld from you, peace, clarity, power, protection, will now be released. This is your consecration. This is your invitation. You are not watching a shift. You are hosting it. Let your obedience build the altar. Let your restraint draw the fire. And let your posture of quiet trust make room for the King of Glory to enter in. I am covered in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 1221 is now activated over your atmosphere. You are not the same person who broke last year. You are not the same vessel who trembled under pressure, nor the same soul who questioned their worth at every sign of resistance. Something in you has shifted. You may not see it fully yet, but your spirit knows. There's a maturity that's settled in your bones, a fire that wasn't there before, a quiet strength wrapped in stillness. The breaking didn't destroy you, it distilled you. The fire didn't burn you, it refined you. And now, the time has come. Heaven is lifting the veil not to expose your pain but to reveal your power. Archangel Michael speaks now with clarity. Your wings have returned. You've been crawling through the debris of disappointment for far too long. You've walked with your head low, dragging the chains of false guilt and unnecessary shame. But not anymore. Because when that shift enters your room at 2:00 a.m. on May 31st, it's not coming just to change your atmosphere. It's coming to announce your identity. You are not who they said you were. You are not what they whispered behind your back. You are not what the enemy tried to convince you of when you were tired and alone. You are a vessel of divine authority. You are heaven's echo in the earth. You are light in motion. It had to happen this way. The silence, the separation, the strange seasons of stillness where nothing seemed to move. That wasn't delay. It was development. You were being prepared for power, and power requires space. That's why things had to fall apart. That's why relationships had to dissolve. That's why God didn't answer your last prayer the way you expected. He wasn't ignoring you. He was investing in you. And now the return is ready. Now the transformation is irreversible. You've got wings now. Wings made of resilience. Wings made of obedience. Wings that remember how to fly even after the fall. And with them, you're going to soar. Not into fame, not into fantasy, but into fulfillment. Into the version of yourself that was always written into your DNA. Into the timeline heaven has been holding back until you were ready to believe you belonged in it. There is fire in your story now, not the kind that consumes, but the kind that fuels. There is wind in your movement, not the kind that scatters, but the kind that carries. And there is clarity in your mind, not the absence of questions, but the presence of purpose. You have become dangerous to every lie spoken over you. You have become a threat to the kingdom of darkness simply by surviving. And now, you're not just surviving. You are about to speak, to build, to lead. You are not a victim. You are the evidence. You are the result of divine endurance, the fruit of silent obedience, the walking proof that spiritual warfare ends in spiritual revelation. And you will not go back to who you were before the fire, because heaven didn't carry you through the flames for you to return as ashes. You are gold now, tested, tried, transformed. So when the clock strikes and the presence enters, you not shrink. Do not kneel in shame. Rise. Lift your head. Let the room see what heaven already knows. You are ready. Ready to command. Ready to create. Ready to be seen not for what you suffered, but for what you now carry. Type "I am anointed to rise" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 1881 is now igniting your destiny. You were hidden for protection, not because you were unworthy, not because you were unqualified, but because you were divine cargo. And precious things are not paraded in public. Precious things are preserved. You were wrapped in silence for a season so heaven could work in you what the earth would have tried to exploit too soon. And now that the hour has come, heaven is peeling back the curtain. You're not being released randomly. You're being revealed intentionally. The shift is happening because your spirit is activating, not your emotions, not your performance, not your desire to prove yourself. Your spirit, that eternal part of you that remembers who you are even when your mind forgets. That ancient piece of you that whispers truth when the world screams lies. That holy spark that survived trauma, betrayal, abandonment, and still burns. That part of you has now been authorized to step forward. You were never overlooked. You were reserved. You were never forgotten. You were fortified. The silence wasn't absence, it was strategy. God has kept you under shadow because the light assigned to you is too radiant to be mishandled. And now, the appointed time has come. The moment heaven has marked in your timeline. The same moment the adversary tried to cancel with chaos, with lies, with loss, has now arrived. Hear this. Your name is written in the wind. And the winds obey no man. The winds do not wait for permission. The winds do not beg to be seen. They move, and everything shifts with them. You are moving now, not physically, but spiritually, into new realms, new favor, new clarity. This is not about fame. This is about function. You were created to function in divine authority. And that function is now being activated. Heaven has held meetings about you. Angels have been briefed. The adversary has been warned. And the hourglass has been turned. At 2:00 a.m. on May 31st, the transaction begins. The realm of spirit will breathe into your purpose, and you will know, not by sign, but by sensation. You'll feel your peace return. You'll feel your mind clear. You'll feel the echo of your calling resonate in your chest. Suffering has been the currency. Silence has been the payment. And now, heaven delivers the reward. The delay was never denial. The wilderness was never punishment. It was preparation. You had to be prepared because what you're about to carry will carry others. This isn't just your shift. It's your assignment being released. The prophetic veil is tearing. The covering is being lifted. And what was buried is now breaking the surface. It's your time. It's your turn. It's your truth. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider sending a super thanks with contributions up to $10. Your support helps us continue creating content that lifts, warns, and prepares the spiritually awake. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type "I am chosen for this" in the comments if your spirit receives this. Blessing code 2222 is now unlocking heaven's timeline for your life. Heaven is not waiting on your perfection. Heaven is waiting on your yes. The moment you release the hesitation, the fear, the lie that says "I'm not ready," your spiritual alignment will trigger a release so powerful it will shake the foundations of everything that tried to limit you. You've been lied to, not just by people, but by fear, by shame, by insecurity. But the time has come to silence those lies with one truth: you are chosen. And now is your time. Destiny is not a destination. It is a decision. It is the posture of the heart that says, "Even if I don't feel ready, I'll say yes anyway." Destiny does not wait for convenience. Destiny comes in moments like this, divine intersections where the natural meets the supernatural. Moments when the world around you still looks the same, but something inside you knows it will never be the same again. At 2:00 a.m. on May 31st, a gate will open in the realm of the spirit. Not one that can be seen with the eye, but one that your soul will feel. You'll sense it. A stillness so deep it almost hums. A pause in the fabric of time where heaven leans in and listens, waiting for your response. Not your resume. Not your justification. Just your agreement. Say it now. I am chosen. I am ready. I will go. Because your yes will break curses that lingered for generations. Your yes will open doors that your bloodline was too bound to walk through. Your yes will reroute everything the enemy mapped out for your failure. And most of all, your yes will signal heaven that the one we've been waiting for has awakened. The patterns must break now. The cycles must be shattered. This moment of surrender is not just emotional. It is ancestral. Every no that came before you, every delayed purpose, every aborted assignment, it stops here. It ends with you, and it begins again with you. This is destiny, not dressed in glamour, but in glory. Not adorned in applause, but in alignment. Heaven is asking you to choose new boundaries, to release old identities, to walk away from anything that smells like delay. The room you stand in must now reflect your future, not your past. So clear it out. Clean it spiritually. Speak life into it. Make declarations over it. This is where destiny begins, not on a stage, but in sacred stillness. Start the sacred routines now. Wake up and speak to your day. Anoint your thresholds. Write your visions plainly. Pray until peace arrives. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be postured. Postured for glory. Positioned for downloads. Open for instruction. Surrendered to acceleration. Because when God moves, He moves fast. And when you say yes, He releases not only strength, but speed. You're about to experience a holy acceleration. Your obedience is pulling on it. Your faith is unlocking it. Your surrender is igniting it. This is the moment that makes every previous moment make sense. Every tear, every failure, every silence. It was all the path to now. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are right on divine time. And divine time does not bend to human calendars. It bends to willing vessels. So be that vessel. Heaven is not asking for your performance. Heaven is asking for your posture. Stand in it. Own it. Activate it. Type ISAYYES to destiny in the comments if your soul agrees. Blessing code 1717 is now propelling you into alignment. You felt it without understanding it. The sensation, that something invisible is being negotiated above your head. Like the air itself is thicker. Like time is slower. Like your spirit is being called somewhere your body can't follow. This is not just perception. It is prophecy. Because while you sleep, the realm of the spirit has been wide awake. Angels have been dispatched. Conversations have been unfolding. Divine paperwork has been signed. And at 2:00 a.m., the room you lie in becomes a courtroom, sacred, sealed, and watched by heaven. This is the hour of silent exchange. The hour when prayers are transferred into outcomes. When suffering is translated into strength. When tears are collected like currency and poured into breakthrough. You've been crying in silence, but heaven has heard every sob. You've been battling loneliness, but you were never alone. Your pain summoned angels. Your persistence made the heavens pause. And now, what you could not see is being transacted above you. There are decisions being finalized. There are timelines being realigned. The spirit realm is in motion, not in chaos, but in perfect coordination. You do not need to understand the mechanics to receive the miracle. You simply need to be present. Because the shift at 2:00 a.m. is not metaphorical. It is measurable, and it will change your timeline. Ancestors are present, not in some superstitious fashion, but in witness, in divine agreement. The prayers of your foremothers, the silent groans of generations before you, the unspoken hopes of those who carried burdens they couldn't name, all of them are converging at this hour. This is what it means when Scripture says you are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. They are watching. They are affirming. They are passing the mantle. And the enemy, the adversary, is being denied access. He has petitioned for your soul. He has asked to sift you. But heaven has answered with not this one. This one is sealed. The room feels strange because heaven is closing the door on attacks that nearly worked. The presence you feel is not haunting. It's healing. Not oppression, but order. This moment of stillness is not empty. It's transactional. A holy exchange. Your fear for his courage. Your sorrow for his joy. Your weariness for his strength. No contracts are signed with ink. They are sealed in obedience. They are confirmed in silence. They are finalized through stillness. So do not speak during this hour. Do not post. Do not distract. Let the Spirit do what only it can do. Let heaven complete what it started. What's being returned to you was stolen long ago. Time, peace, focus, inheritance. And you must receive it with reverence. The Spirit is scripting your next chapter as you sit still. The pen is not in your hand. It is in God's. You need only to witness. Your story is shifting. The plot is breaking open. The climax of every prayer you ever whispered in pain is arriving. Quietly, powerfully, unstoppably. What happens at 2:00 a.m. cannot be undone. It will not be reversed. Because the heavens have already ruled, and the ruling is in your favor. Type "I receive the exchange" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 1999 is now activated over your timeline. Justice is not delayed. It is deliberate. The justice you have long awaited. The reversal you have cried for. The vindication your spirit has groaned for in silence. It has already been written in the archives of heaven. And now, the pages are turning. Solely. Sovereignly. Duly. The shift you feel is not random. It is not subtle. It is not abstract. It is spiritual justice being released into your life in waves so deep, they are touching what human hands could never repair. What was stolen is being returned, not in portion, but in multiplication. You cried when it was taken. You bled when you were betrayed. You wept over what you thought would never come back. But heaven heard you, and God never forgets what the enemy steals from his children. The delay you called denial was actually preservation. The silence you thought was abandonment was heaven orchestrating something so exact, so divine, that only now could it be unveiled. They thought they buried you. They thought you wouldn't recover. They thought they had the final word. What they forgot: seeds don't die, they grow. You were not buried, you were planted. And the root system of your purpose has been deepening beneath the surface where eyes couldn't see and tongues couldn't reach. And now it breaks through, not gently, not quietly, but in power, in glory. You've wondered why people walked away, why they changed, why they grew cold when you needed warmth. But child, their betrayal was required. The exit of those you once leaned on was not rejection. It was redirection. Some blessings could not come through the vessels you trusted. Some promises were too heavy for their hands. And so God had to reroute the blessing, not to punish you, but to protect it. The blessing had to survive. And that meant some things, and some people, could not. The shift was the sign. Its sudden sense of release. That moment where you realize you weren't angry anymore. That's justice. That's freedom. That's heaven's judgment being executed in your favor. Spiritual scales are being corrected. And your name is being cleared not in courtrooms, but in the courts of heaven. This is not legal justice. This is legacy justice. This is ancestral reparation. This is divine retribution, measured not in revenge but in restoration. You will rise, and they won't understand why. They'll see your elevation and wonder how. They'll question how someone who lost so much is now standing in such glory. But the answer is simple: God. Because when God restores, He does not restore in secret. He makes your enemies watch. Not to humiliate them, but to humble them. To show that He is sovereign. That He is just. That He is faithful. Every betrayal was a building block. Every loss was a launchpad. Every wound was a womb for what is now being birthed. You are not just rising. You are being resurrected. A version of you that was buried under the weight of trauma is now breathing again. A voice that was silenced by slander is now singing. A power that was caged by shame is now roaring. And this justice, it doesn't stop with you. It spills into your lineage. Your children will walk in the peace you fought for. Your family will taste the fruit of your obedience. The curse stops here. The detour ends now. The delay turns into divine delivery. So as May 31st approaches, and the clock strikes 2:00 a.m., let this truth be your armor. Heaven has ruled, and the verdict is in your favor. If this message resonates with you, and you feel led, consider giving a super thanks with a gift of up to $5. Your support helps us continue crafting messages that awaken, affirm, and elevate. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type "I claim justice" in the comments if you receive this. Lesson code 3333 is now rewriting your outcome. The hour is near. The veil is almost open. The clock is ticking toward divine intersection. And when it reaches 2:00 a.m. on May 31st, it will not simply be a passing moment. It will be a holy marker, and checkpoint in the heavens. a timestamp that signifies the moment your world begins to align with what has always been written in the Spirit. You are not just stepping into a new day, you are stepping into a new dimension. So let this final affirmation settle in your soul. You are sealed, seen, and sent. You are not invisible to God. You are not ignored by heaven. You are not forgotten by the realm that formed you. Your prayers have been logged. Your pain has been noted. Your silence has been honored. And now, your name has been spoken in places your feet have not yet touched. You are on the scroll. And heaven is not just visiting, heaven is endorsing. The shift was not your imagination. It was heaven's whisper. That moment in your room when you felt the air change, the mood darken, the peace suddenly rise. That was your confirmation. That was the invisible world announcing its arrival. And now that you know what it feels like, you will never question it again. You will recognize the signs. You will respond with reverence. You will prepare the way, not in fear, but in faith. This message was not for the many. It was for the marked. For the ones heaven knew would not scroll past. For the ones who can feel truth before they see it. For the ones who have been awakened not by lightning but by stillness. You are one of them. A vessel. A voice. A witness. May your room be saturated with presence. May your thoughts be flooded with clarity. May your timeline bend in favor of what was prophesied. This is your moment. And no force in heaven or hell can erase what God is about to unveil in you. Walk in the fire, not to be burned, but to become flame. Rise in the silence, and not to be seen, but to be known. And when 2:00 a.m. arrives, let your room become the altar. Let your spirit become the offering. Let your surrender become the signal. You are no longer waiting for breakthrough, you are the breakthrough. You are no longer praying for change, you are the change. You are no longer begging for destiny, you are becoming destiny. And as the final seconds of May 30th bleed into the sacred breath of May 31st, do not doubt. Do not waver. Just receive. The heavens have whispered. The angels have assembled. The Spirit is moving. And your shift is now. Type "I am sealed" in the comments to receive this final impartation. Blessing code 5555 is now covering your mind, your room, and your future. If this message has spoken directly to your soul, subscribe now. Stay connected to divine timing and exclusive spiritual messages designed to equip and elevate your journey.